It's been a while since I posted anything, and a big part of that is I kind of took a break from my daily school grinds and tried out some new games, or at least some games that were new to me. Today, I kind of want to talk about the state of the game and how I feel it's kind of stale, but on the flip side, it has so much potential to be an all-time roguelike game. I've put countless hours in this game, and I do not regret a single second of it. The issue I'm currently having is because of Skull, I kind of been exploring the roguelike genre more. And these games have a ton of content to do after the main boss is killed. And I kind of feel like that's a huge part of what Skull is missing. After you kill the first hero, there really isn't too much incentive to keep doing these runs other than beating up time, trying new builds, which is still fun, don't get me wrong. I did it for 400 hours in this game. But I see these other games that have several game modes and game difficulties, which Skull is coming out with, I believe in October, if my information is correct for the devs. I try not to be too harsh on Southpaw. Um, a lot of these rogues I've been playing have seen many years of the market, and they use this time to continuously build their games, which I have all the faith in Southpaw to be doing the same with theirs. This is more of just kind of like a spitballing and what I kind of hope the future holds for Skull, and kind of some worries I have about it, going dry in terms of content. What really worries me is that one day this game just no longer really interests me and it kind of just collects dust in my Steam library. Which, even if that is the case, I really can't be too upset. I mean, A, for the money I spent in this game, I got every penny's worth and way more. I mean, for I believe it was 20 bucks when I bought it, to get 500 hours out of the game for 20 bucks is insane value to me. I've never had a game keep my attention for nearly as long as that. So this is kind of just things that I really hope to see in the future of Skull. Um, Firstly, something I speak on all the time is seeds. I talk about it in Discord. I talk about it on Reddit. I talk about it on my stream, and I believe I mentioned it into a video too. And it is probably my number one thing I want to see from Skull. And the main thing for that is literally one of the first big things I did for Skull on stream was a 7.5 hour race to beat the first hero. It was between me and a buddy of mine, and at the time, neither one of us had an insane amount of time in the game, and we were still kind of learning really how to get some good runs going. And even though it was 7.5 hours, like it was probably the most fun I've ever had on Twitch, especially being able to do it with a good friend of mine. So being able to see seeds in this game would be absolutely crazy. Being able to share a seed with a buddy, seeing if, he gets a better build than you, or if he can build better than you, see if he has better time than you, or even, having someone share a seed with you and being able to do a race. And I think one thing people don't realize is there really is a speed run slash race community within the small community of Skull that would love to see things like this, would love to be able to race each other. And if that was the case, I would honestly start like my own little speed run, tournament type community where people are racing and sharing seeds and things of that nature. Secondly, another thing I want to see in this game is cosmetic changes. And what I mean by that is with playing other games, I noticed that a lot of them have a lot more cosmetic capabilities in the game. And one example I'm going to use is the Binding of Isaac. And with the Binding of Isaac, literally every item you pick up at the game will change your character cosmetically one way or another. Now, I'm not expecting Skull to do that, every single item to change every single skull because, I mean, there's a ton of skulls in this game. But can you imagine, just for a second, of, let's say the Kyrian sword to add maybe, a black cloak to your skull or something of that nature where it's these small changes that every single different build you use now also looks slightly different from the last. And something just to catch the eye of the player. It's something I wouldn't say is easy to implement just because the amount of items plus the amount of skulls, I'm sure it would take a ton of time to do so. It's just something I would love to see in a game like this, having that cosmetic aspect of it rather than just, purely, how good is my build. Which, don't get me wrong, I mean, there's still a ton of builds you can do with several different skulls in this game. So, lastly, I would love to see something that would keep me interested for quite some time is challenges. Now, these don't necessarily have to be in-game challenges. These could be community driven. but it's something I would love to see in the game. So whether it's, a workshop type thing where people can, take the game into their own hands and kind of build a little challenge around that, or whether it's, something that the devs put in themselves. And like the best example I can think of is imagine a challenge with no shops. I mean, the town would still be there. You can use it for a heal, and that's about it. So imagine, all your items needed to come from item rooms, basing so much around what your skull actually is and things of that nature. And on the flip side, you see all these other games, specifically ones that have challenges, have all these different game modes and game difficulties, which we did discuss that, Skull is coming out with their new hard mode plus probably in October, from what I was told. But what I'm really worried about is this new game mode plus kind of just being a stat increase for the enemies, and I should have way more faith in Southpaw than that. Um, just because what they've done with their updates since I've personally been playing the game have been amazing. The first update I got in this game was a relatively small update. It was some new maps, specifically the mazes, the little defend the little ball from the enemies, kill enemies for the chests, things like that. And it added just enough to the game to keep me, interested for quite some time. And then we just recently gotten a pretty big patch for the game a few months ago. We got two new skulls, a new legendary variant of a skull. We got some new maps, and they completely overhauled every single quintessence in the game. So mad props for Southpaw for that. I'm sure a lot of work went into that patch, and it was absolutely amazing in my book. So I should have the faith in them that, it's not just going to be some stat increase. And I imagine we'll see more than just the game mode in October when the patch comes. But I would love to see like different variants of minions or different variants of bosses. Whether it's, their kits are a little less predictable, like, or, bosses having new phases. Whatever it may be, just something to, really separate it from a regular run on normal mode or rookie mode. It definitely it needs to feel like it's a real challenge. Not saying this game is not hard as is. I have runs where the first hero seems impossible to even get to, let alone beat. But I mean, I want hard mode to be hard mode. Like I don't want it to, just be something simple where, as long as you have a really good build. Now, of course, the really good builds are gonna help, but I want a lot of skill to go into it as well. And that could just be me. So I'm really just kind of waiting to see what they do with this next patch. And that really kind of does it for my rant on Skull. I will say it's 100% worth the buy if you have not tried the game out and you're looking to. Don't even hesitate. Like, the game is amazing for what it is. It just can, in my eyes, can be so much better. So that does it for me. If you guys made this far in the video and you enjoyed yourself, go ahead and click that thumbs up button. Click the subscribe button as well. It really helps the channel grow. And if you are a current player of the game, leave a comment down below. How do you feel about the state of the game currently? Are you still doing your, whether you're a daily player or you just pick it up every once in a while, do you still feel entertained? Do you still feel like you want to do another run? I will put a link to all my socials in the description below. That's my Twitch, my Twitter, and my Discord. I would love for you guys to hop in Discord sometimes, have a conversation about some Skull. What are you guys' favorite builds? Where are you at in the game? Are you still struggling to beat it? Are you beating it on a daily basis? Whatever is going on. And I will catch you guys in the next video. This is Krenta, signing off.